Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a little my first thoughts and looking at RWBY Volume 4's intro and maybe give a little small theory or possible analysis of my own perspective of how I'm thinking about it, of what could come later in Volume 4. This is just a guess, theory, or hypothesis, whatever you want to call it or something. And if you don't like those kinds of videos, then you're more than welcome to leave. No one's asking you to watch it and so forth. But for me, I'm just doing this for fun and give you guys what what I'm thinking of what can happen in Volume 4 in the future. And hopefully I am proven wrong, or I might, yeah. you know. Sorry. Anyways, let's just talk about let me just give you guys a little small recap on Volume 4 intro of RWBY. So far, of course, it does start off with a couple Grimm getting ready to swarm, and then we end up seeing four colored orbs, which, of course, represent each one of our main female cast. Yellow is for Yang, white is for Weiss, Blake is black, and Ruby is red. And they end up separating and ends up showing Noah, Ren, Ruby, and John going on their journey and trying to figure out what the enemy's plans are, while we have Crow watching over them without them noticing, or they don't even know. As for Weiss, she seems to be studying and see some characters and we get to see some side characters, a butler and maybe another attendant, and Weiss's father, and that other guy behind him. And it seems like Weiss seems to be having a headache or something and might be having some trouble to figure something out. As for Blake, she seems like she's traveling with Sun, or Sung, I don't know. But one thing for sure, she's traveling with the group of pirates possibly, or just mercenaries, I don't know. And as for Yang, it looks like she's training with her father at home with her one arm. But eventually she ends up having a headache and sees an image of her other self, how she has her other arm, and how am I supposed to say it? She's all happy going and so forth, and ends up having a terrible headache and nightmare. And we have to it that Adam, the person who cut off Yang's arm, of course, shows up in the background, and we see two people who look like Faunus's. One of them is, and the other one might be hiding his true identity as a Faunus, I don't know. And we get to see the group of antagonist in this intro, who is being led by this witch or person named Salim or Salim, whatever you want to call it, And it seems like they will be the major antagonists for Volume 4, or possibly the rest of the series, maybe. I don't know. Because, they're just introducing this episode in Chapter 1, apparently, or in this intro itself, and it seems like they have control over the Grimm, or the Grimm's doing their bidding. While RWBY is fighting against an enemy and Blake is fighting against Adam, possibly in a desert or something, and as she's dodging his blades, he's about to deal a killing strike to her while she stands there realizing what's to come. As for Weiss, she's training herself using her abilities, as we see Nora, Ren, and John fighting off the Grimm. And the intro does end off with the four main cast of characters. Well, I call it our four main girls. Of course, that's RWBY, Weiss, Yang, and Blake, and so forth. It ends off the intro there, and so forth, and so forth. So overall, when I'm looking at this intro right now, after explaining a certain recap, it looks like to me that Jean, Nora, Ren, and RWBY is going to continue the journey and try to find out where the next enemy plan or attack is going to be, And that is the only thing I could get out for RWBY right now, especially for Jean, Nora, and Ren, because that's what the intro was showing. But of course, Crow is also watching over them, as he wants to know where the next enemy is. This is just a thought or thinking, But he is watching over them, and there's no denying that. And it is already shown in Volume 3's ending, of course, after credits, post-ending scene, and shown in Volume 4's intro here. As for Weiss, she looks like she will be training under her father, but it seems like she is going to have a headache and she's going to have some trouble. But at the same time, I think she's gonna develop by making a bigger magic ability or summoning possibly, you know? Because we do know in Volume 3 back then that she did make a summoning and so forth. But as for Blake, she will be traveling with Sun, surprisingly. Although I hope it does show, like, throughout the months of what Blake and what the other girls are doing. I hope it shows what they have been doing throughout the months that passed. Because it says after 6, it says it went through 6 to 8 months past already after the fall of Beacon. Anyways, going on, of course, I think Blake is still going to travel with Sun along with these other new characters. Possibly as mercenaries, or maybe just to get her mind off of things. I don't know. But we all know that Blake ran off after like the fall of Beacon and seeing Yang got hurt. As for Yang herself, I believe she is going to train with her father or that guy whatsoever. I think that's her father, of course, because Ruby is her half-sister and so forth. And we get to see to it that Yang might have trouble like trying to overcome of what happened to her, you know, especially how she lost her right arm and how she's going to overcome that. Many people had theories of Yang might have a new arm, but it could be unlikely. But I don't know, that's just my guess. And of course the antagonist group that's led by Salem, the White Witch, or just say White Witch. I'll just call her a White Witch because she is an antagonist and she looks like a witch to me in her background. Leading Cinder along with these other three bad guys, which is shown in the intro and not to mention chapter 1, and those 3 does antagonize Cinder and so forth. Cinder does have a new look anyway because her eye is taken and she has a mask over it, so it must be true. But, you know, and of course Blake might have to face Adam one more time and may have to overcome the fact that she may have to take a damage. She might get hit or slashed by him, maybe because she's reluctant to fight him. As for Weiss, of course, she is training hard with everything she's got and so forth and so on. Sorry for my poor speech here and there. Just got nothing else to say or to give a certain analyzation or certain theory or hypothesis for me of what's to come for RWBY Volume 4, you know. Because we all know RWBY, along with Jean, Ren, and Nora, is going to go and try to figure out where the next enemy is going to make their plan or their attack. Because that's been set out ever since the end of Volume 3. And that is what they're going to do. But RWBY, of course, is going to have to face that psychotic motherfucker whoever's seen Episode 1 and so forth, or Chapter 1. And as for Weiss, we all know she's going to train hard, but what will she be training for? And what will she fight for exactly? Will she just be under the cage of her father? That's it. And as for Blake herself, she's going to be traveling with the mercenaries, and she does encounter Adam in this intro. Will that really happen in Volume 4? And what is she doing traveling with Sun and some other group of people? Are they acting as mercenaries or just traveling around the world to find the next enemy? That's a question to wonder. What is Blake doing with those people? As for Yang, she is training with just her one arm, but she ends up having a very bad vision or headache of her previous self and sees Adam. Is she going to have to go through certain mental and physical training how to get stronger with just only one arm? And what will she do after that? Because, of course, like, Adam is the one that scarred her pretty badly. Especially what happened in Volume 3, she's still scarred from that just by looking at it. So, we have a lot of questions involved, like, in this intro. Of course, RWBY, Jean, Ren, and Nora is gonna go and do their thing, you know? Find the enemy's next move and what's to come. As having Crow watch over them without them knowing. Weiss, of course, looks like she's training, but it looks like she's gonna have some problems how to adapt to what's happening, you know? Maybe that's what's shown in intro. That's what's shown in this intro for me. That's what I'm thinking. Just a theory, hypothesis, or guess. Blake, she's of course, like I'm repeating myself with these characters, she's traveling around with a group of mercenaries or possibly friends or people with Sun, you know? The only question is why is she doing this? Is it to find out the next enemy's move, or to like get her mind off of things? As for Yang, we all know she's training, but once she's done training and got everything gets passed through these mental traumas after what Adam did to her, losing Blake, seeing Team RWBY split up, the fall of Beacon, what is she going to do after that? These are something to like keep in mind about, because like Volume 4 is here, and I look forward to see where this goes, and I hope it does not disappoint, which I highly doubt it will. But for some people, it can, or it won't, it will. We don't know. It all depends what you are looking for exactly. So this is just my guess, theory, or hypothesis of what I could think what can happen in Volume 4 of RWBY. But I am told, like I did do some research on Volume 4 on the amount of chapters and episodes that Volume 4 may have. It might be the same amount as Volume 3, though I do not know for sure, and I can't really promise anything like that. But I still look forward to it, and I hope it will not disappoint, which I hope it won't, because like Volume 3 was a total game changer. A lot of people have to agree with me on that. Anyways, me rambling on and so forth. This is just a video of what I think could happen in Volume 4. I mean, each woman character, well, of course, RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have their own story to come in Volume 4. There's no way you're not just going to focus on RWBY all the way and that's it. No way. That's not going to work like that. After showing us that intro and so forth, it's going to be at least maybe back-to-back story possibly. That's what I'm thinking. That's just a guess for me. But anyways, I am really excited to see what Volume 4 is going to bring. I hope it doesn't disappoint. If it gives out great development, bring it on. I want to see how these girls grew up after these 6 to 8 months have passed. I think that was the amount of time after what happened in Volume 3 for our characters to possibly grow or to train again. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm Fazito. Have a good day, and I'll be sure to see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye. Toodaloo.